Hi, good evening. Welcome back to Cooking with Chief Tony. Tonight I'm actually going to make an easy, quick banana bread, something that I've been kind of craving here lately. So here in just a few moments we'll go ahead and get started. I want to first of all thank everybody for your love and support, your prayers, your encouragement. As I've been healing, I had surgery over a week ago, and I'm doing much better now. But so I wanted to thank you all again for your love and support, your prayers, your words of encouragement. Still on the mend, but not 100%, but definitely doing better than I was yesterday. So, all right, everybody. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to don our apron, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm just going to set you down there for just a moment. Again, I hope everybody's doing well. On this fine April day. We are well over halfway through April. I can't believe it. We are definitely moving fast. So I'm just going to go ahead and wash my hands real quick. As everybody knows, I love good hand hygiene. That's just how it is in my profession. I work today, so at the hospital. So hello, and welcome. So we'll turn it on warm. Don't want it too hot, but we want it nice and warm. Again, I hope everybody's doing well. Today we are going to do some banana bread. It's fairly simple, fairly easy. So what I have right now, just to get it started, I already have the oven on, preheated to 325 is what we're going to go ahead and do today. Excuse me, it's a little warm in my kitchen, so I'm going to wipe my face down real quick. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and show you my ingredients today. So we've got 1 egg, we've got some butter, 1/4 butter, we've got some walnuts, we actually have baking soda, and then I have over here my salt, we've got white sugar, and we've got some vanilla extract, and we've got our flour. So that, and then obviously we've got 3 bananas. So it's going to take 3 bananas, mature bananas. So I'm going to go ahead and sit you down over here, and I'm going to show you how I do my process here. So I have my big bowl, I have my wooden spatula, and then I have my plastic spatula, because that's going to help me get everything I need out. You want to make sure that your bowl is nice and dry. I used it earlier, so you'll have to forgive me. It's not quite finished drying yet. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and peel my banana, or my bananas, and I'm going to go ahead and just take these bad boys in. I'm just going to drop it in there. You can break it in there, break it all up. It'll fall apart. It may not, I don't know. But your mature bananas is what you're going to go ahead and put in there. I'm just going to set that in the sink for now. So I hope everybody's doing well and blessed. This is my first live since surgery. I had hernia surgery, for those that don't know. So, and for those that do know, thank you for your love and your prayer and your support. I actually went back to work this past Tuesday, so doing better. I'm doing better than yesterday. Today is always better than yesterday. So for those that are just joining me tonight here in beautiful Las Vegas, at least joining me virtually, is I am making homemade banana bread. And it's a very simple, very easy recipe that I've been kind of following. I found, and I kind of tailored to myself, so this is how I do it. I'm going to go ahead and get a fork, and I'm just going to go ahead, and as you can see, here are my bananas. So as you saw, I had very, very mature bananas. Usually they're like this. Excuse me, I threw it in the sink. So, but you'll see they're a little black. It's totally fine. As a matter of fact, if you have bananas that you know are going to go bad before you have an opportunity to eat them, you can always freeze them and make bananas. So just real quick, for those that don't know, before I mash that completely up, I actually have a set of bananas that are frozen. Frozen bananas will work just as fine, just as well for this process. So don't think it just has to be fresh, but fresh is better. Okay, going back to what we're doing. I hope everybody's doing good. It's been one heck of a Saturday. That's for sure. So I'm just going to show you how I'm mashing it up here. That's all I'm doing. And I really want to mash it up really, really good to where it almost liquefies, if not liquefies. I don't like chunky banana nut bread. You might, that's totally up to you, but I like to make sure it's nice and mashed. Okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and take my fork. You can use a smaller bowl to go ahead and get it started. Drinks and dinner, that's exactly it, Pete. I hope you and Claudel are doing well. I know you're traveling right now. So I just use the big bowl to save on having to do a large amount of dishes later. So, but anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and continue to mash here. Like I said, I kind of want to get it a nice liquefied consistency, or as close as I can get it. And I kind of beat it a little bit. Once you get it down mashed pretty well, you can actually kind of use your fork to kind of beat it like you would eggs. So, which will help a little bit in that process. But continue to mash down. It shouldn't be that hard of a process because these are mature bananas. So I don't like saying old because that implies that they are no good. Just happens to be that they are well ripened. Like some of you people out there. Wait a minute, I didn't say that. Just like some of my watchers out there. No, I'm kidding. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue to mash this down. I'm actually going to kind of, like I said, beat it up like I would an egg a little bit. Kind of use the side to oh, I see Adam Nelson's on. He's in Boston. I hope the weather is nice out there. We actually had a decent day today out here in Vegas. Okay, so as you can see, we've got a little bit of a watery consistency. I'm still going to continue to mash and scramble a little bit here in this process because I really want to break the bananas down. Almost looks like a banana pudding almost, in my eyes. Hi, Miss Debbie. How are you doing out in Texas? All right, so we've got our banana consistency almost down. I'm going to go ahead and, again, I'm just kind of showing you, I'm just going to go ahead and whisk it around here. You can either use a whisker, you can use your mixer. I just like burning some calories. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Hey, it's my cousin Joy out in New York. How are you doing, cuz? How's the new grandbaby? All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to show you this. I don't want to spill too much of it, but this is what it looks like here. Okay. So we got a good, nice mixture going on here. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and just whisk this just a little bit, real quick, just a little bit more. Like I said, I don't like chunky bananas in my banana nut bread, but that's my personal preference, and that's going to be up to you. Okay. So. Actually, it's kind of funny. This reminds me so much of my grandma. Even though my grandma hated banana nut bread, it reminds me so much of her because of the walnuts. She put walnuts in all of her baked goods, whether it was cakes or cookies or fudge. It didn't matter. Walnuts were almost in practically everything, or on practically everything. Okay. All right, so this is actually looking pretty good. I'm just going to go ahead and leave that for just a moment, just so that way we can go ahead and start adding everything else. So I'm going to add everything in at a little bit at a time. But first, let's go ahead and we're going to put our butter. It's 1/4 cup butter. Okay, and I'm going to put it in the microwave. And I want it to be melted as much as I can. So maybe about 20 seconds, 25 seconds, depending upon your altitude, depending upon what kind of butter, or if you're using margarine. The butter that I'm using today is actually the Irish Gold butter, or Kerrygold, excuse me, butter. So that's what I'm using today, and and it sounds pretty. So it's nice and liquefied, and so 20 seconds, not even really. And so I'm just going to go ahead and add everything a little bit at a time. So I'm going to use my wooden spatula, and I'm just going to go ahead and drizzle my butter in, and I, again, try to use as much of everything as I can. I hate wasting food, and I hate wasting product, because even though it may seem simple, you know, I'm one of those weirdos. I like to keep everything or use as much of everything as possible. And especially when you're on a budget and you're broke, you may not always have a second chance to do everything. Okay, so this is my salt. So I've got 1 teaspoon. I'm going to say that again, 1 teaspoon of salt, and I've already put it in my bowl. So I'm just going to go ahead and dump that in here. Now, in some recipes, it says to add the salt separate, but add the salt separately, add the baking soda separately. I just throw it all in and I just mix it, you know, piece by piece. So that's just me. That is if you want to try that, you're more than welcome to. But this is just kind of how I do it. I'm showing you how I make it. So I've added my 1 teaspoon of salt. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and mix this through. Okay, so I have 1 egg. I'm just going to go ahead and crack my egg. And I'm just going to go ahead and we'll mix this in here. I'm going to actually beat it now because I want to scramble that egg, and I'm going to go ahead and show you this, what it looks like right now. So this is what I got going on here. So this is just our 1 teaspoon salt and our 1 egg mixture right at the moment with 3 mature bananas. I'm just mixing this up here. Okay, so now let's go ahead and go over here. So I'm going to go ahead and add my 1 teaspoon of baking soda, not baking powder, but baking soda. And as I've already stated previously, I set it in a bowl already, so it's already measured out. So 1 teaspoon of baking soda, which will go right in here. And I'm just going to go ahead and mix this in. I like to go various different ways, make little layers, have a little fun with it, right? All right, so I've got my 1 teaspoon salt, I've got my 1 teaspoon baking soda, I've got 1 egg in here, and 3 bananas. So what am I going to use next? So I'm going to go ahead and use my sugar. I'm going to use 1 cup of sugar, and I'm just going to measure it out. And this is how I measure things out when it comes to using my... Okay, when I use my cups, so I'm just going to go ahead and... Okay, so I'm just going to... I need a little bit more. That's totally fine. That might be too much, but that's perfectly fine. So we're going to just kind of shake that around a little bit. And it's not exact, but it's about right. So I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle this in a little bit. I'm not left-handed, but I'm going to use my left hand to kind of stir as I pour this in. I'm going to do that slowly. I haven't poured it all in yet, but I'm just going to go ahead and put that in a little bit at a time. I'm kind of whisking it up so it's a little frothy right at the moment, which is fine. So that was 1/4 cup of butter, Miss Debbie. Yes, thank you. You are absolutely right. I didn't say the butter part. So I have 1/4 cup butter. I have 1 egg. I have 1 teaspoon, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 cup of sugar. Miss Linda, how are you? I am making homemade banana nut bread. So, I've got, excuse me, I always keep a towel over my shoulder and I didn't today. All right, so we've got 1/4 cup of butter. We've got 1 teaspoon of salt. We've got 1 teaspoon of baking soda. We have 3 ripened bananas. We've got 1 cup of sugar. Now I'm going to go ahead and get my flour out. I literally am opening a brand new bag of flour, y'all. So, and this always excites me because the possibilities of what's going to be used for with this flour is always exciting to me. So, but it also kind of worries me at the same time because when I have to buy large amounts of flour, it means I've been baking way too much, and God only knows. God only knows. All right, so I've got my flour here, so I need 1.5 cups of flour. So I'm going to go ahead and get one of my other measuring cups here. I'm still going to use my measuring cup, but I'm just going to use this one to help get it out because I don't want to mix sugar and flour and stuff like that. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That really means a lot to me. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and shake this off, and obviously you can see that's way too much flour. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of sprinkle it in there back a little bit and just kind of hit it out, shake it, shake. Okay, so this is right at just maybe a little bit above, a little bit below as you start to, so it's just about right. So again, 1.5 cups of flour, and I'm going to add it in slowly. And I'm using my left hand, guys. This is a rarity because I don't use my left hand very often. And I'm going to pour all of this in at once, just so that way it doesn't get too. I'm going to get this in here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and mix this all, and that's all I'm going to need for that cup. So we are good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what our consistency looks like right at the moment. So we've got 3 ripened bananas. We've got 1/4 cup of butter, which I used the Kerrygold Irish butter today. I've got 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of baking soda, not baking powder, but baking soda. I've got 1 cup of white sugar, and I've got 1.5 cups of flour. So I'm going to go ahead and stir this. I'm going to go ahead and sit you back down over here while we get this going because it does me no good to stir with the camera in my hand as well as one hand in the bowl. So you can use your mixer for this. To me, it's more satisfying and gratifying to really get in there and get dirty and mix myself. Plus, it gets out all the aggression from work. Okay, so this is the foundation of our banana bread, okay? And I'm just going to kind of, like I said, I don't like a whole lot of big chunks. It's fine for small chunks, but big chunks, not really too fond of in my banana bread when it comes to the bananas themselves. So I'm just going to go ahead and whisk this a little bit more, kind of break that down. You want to make sure it's nice and mixed. I like making sure I get all the flour. Move it forward. And 1 egg. Yes, Miss Debbie. Thank you. I promise I'll get it right. My memory's not as good as it used to be, unfortunately. But yes, I am doing the best I can. But thank you. So 1 egg. We've got 1 teaspoon of baking soda, not baking powder. We've got 1 teaspoon salt. We have 3 ripened bananas, 1 cup of sugar, and 1.5 cups of flour with 1/4 cup of butter, melted butter. All right, so here is the fun part that I just absolutely love, is where this is the foundation of the bread that we're making. But now here's we get to where we get to ad-lib a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and take my walnuts, and I'm going to go ahead and they're pretty big size, as you can see. I'm going to go ahead and crumble them up. So I'm just going to take my hands and just kind of break it up. Oh, I love that sound. Just crunch, 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 crunch. So I'm going to just break these up with my hands. If you can't break them up with your hands, you can always take a little bag and take a rolling pin and break them up that way. Oh, yay. That sounds, I love that sound. I really do. I love it. The fact I get to crush something and it doesn't hurt. It's not hurting anybody. That sound, it means normally in medicine, when you hear that sound, that's not a good sound. But here today, it's a good sound. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and break this up. You can leave your walnuts however you like them. I just like them broken up because I think it, it gives it a better opportunity to go throughout the bread. For those that like walnuts, you don't have to use it. But this is where I get to ad-lib a little bit with my recipes. So I'm going to go ahead and just shake that off, rinse off real quick. All right, so I'm going to show you what our mixture now looks like. So this is what we got going on here, guys. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you. I'm actually going to go ahead and put in some cinnamon. Now this is one of my little favorite secrets. I love using ground cinnamon. So I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle this on the top. Again, you don't have to, but I think it adds a little extra something. I didn't measure, I just sprinkled on the top, as you can see that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my vanilla extract. And again, guys, this is pure improvisation here. You get to just have a little fun. So I'm just going to use some of my vanilla extract. I'm just going to, just a little touch. Just a little dab will do ya. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this up. And then I'll show you what we got going on here. It smells like heaven. All right. So I'm just going to mix this up. I feel like a little kid again. Especially when you get to taste the spoon after. That's probably one of the best parts. Even though you got raw egg in it, doesn't matter. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and show you what we got going on here. So we've got 3 mature bananas. We've got 1 egg. We've got 1/4 cup of butter. We have 1 cup of white sugar cane. We've got 1.5 cups of flour. I have added maybe about a cup, 1.5 cups of walnuts that I crushed by hand. And I sprinkled the top with ground cinnamon and with a splash of vanilla extract. Miss Debbie, am I right? I think I remembered everything this time. Oh, no. And I have 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of baking soda, not baking powder. So that's totally fine. I totally get it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and shake this off. Ooh, this looks good. And set that to the side. Finish this later. So, you can grease your pan. You can put Pam on it. It's fine. I'm not going to. Just because I have a glass pan and I can always cut it and get it out. But I am going to use my plastic spatula, and I'm going to go ahead and just line the bowl. And the reason I love using my plastic spatula because you get almost everything out of it. And I hate wasting. So here, let's take a look. All right, so for those that were with me before, my oven was preheated to 325. And I'm going to set this on the oven rack, and it's going to bake for an hour. I'm not going to keep everybody online for an hour just to see how this turns out. So what I did was, for time and convenience, I went ahead and I did another one. So let's go ahead and head over to the oven. Okay, so here we go. Boom! We're going to put this one in, and I'm going to pull this bad boy out just to check it out. So we will know that it's done when we actually... So there's the one we just made. And here's the one we've got in the oven. Same recipe, same everything. I'm going to set you down here so I can pull it out of the oven. So you'll know it's finished when you take a toothpick and it comes out clean. Let's take a toothpick. Well, I don't really have a toothpick, but I have a skewer. It's the same thing. All right, so let's take a look. You put crushed pineapples and chocolate chips in yours? That sounds divine. Okay, let's take a look. So we're going to go in the center. 3, 2, 1, down, up, and it's clean, y'all. I cannot wait. So this is our banana nut bread with cinnamon, some vanilla extract, 3 bananas. But look at that. Look at that. So, I'm going to let it cool down for just a few moments. Does anybody have any questions? All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much again for your love, support, all of your prayers, all of your words of encouragement for the last week since I had surgery. I couldn't be more appreciative. And for my Navy shipmates out there, those in harm's way, we pray for you. We're thinking about you. Get home to your family safe and sound soon, okay? And I hope to see everybody next week on Cooking with Chief Tony. And for those that are just now seeing what we have going on, this is what we made. We made banana nut cinnamon bread. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. God bless.